Ladies and gentlemen, what if I told you that within you lies a power so vast, so limitless, that it shapes not only your world but the world itself? A power that is ceaseless, all-creative, and bound by nothing but your own beliefs. That power is your imagination, an omnipotent force capable of molding reality, transforming circumstances, and breathing life into the unseen. The great secret of existence is this: your imagination is not a passive faculty. It is the divine creator within you. Every great invention, every masterpiece, every revolution was once a thought, a vision, a dream, fiercely held and boldly expressed. Look around. Everything you see was once invisible, residing in the mind of someone who dared to believe. But imagination does not merely reflect reality, it precedes it. What you assume to be true with conviction will find its way into existence. The outer world is but a shadow cast by the light of your inner vision. Therefore, the question is not whether you are creating, but what you are creating. If you see yourself as limited, the world will mirror that limitation. But if you dare to see yourself as abundant, powerful, and boundless, the world will conform to your assumption. Imagination is not something to be used occasionally. It is the very fabric of your being, the key to unlocking doors you once thought were sealed shut. So, I ask you, what reality are you shaping right now? Are you painting a masterpiece or merely tracing the lines of what has already been? Dare to assume the highest, to persist in your vision, and to embrace the truth. You are the creator of your destiny. Imagine wisely, for what you hold in mind with faith will one day stand before you. Imagination is not a fleeting thought or a passive daydream. It is the foundation upon which all creation stands. Everything that exists in the physical world was first conceived in the mind of someone who dared to believe in the unseen. The house you live in, the chair you sit on, the technology you use, all of it was once an intangible idea, given form through persistent vision. This is the true nature of imagination. It is the invisible hand shaping reality, molding the formless into tangible existence. When we recognize the power of our imagination, we no longer see it as mere fantasy, but as the architect of our world. Unlike the senses, which are bound by external conditions, imagination operates freely beyond time, space, and limitation. It is not restricted by logic, nor is it confined to what has already been experienced. Through imagination, a person can transcend their present circumstances and see themselves in a completely new reality. A struggling artist can envision themselves as an acclaimed painter. A person facing financial hardship can see themselves living in abundance, and a lonely soul can imagine the warmth of companionship. The moment these visions are accepted as truth within, the seeds of transformation are planted. The outer world has no choice but to align with the inner world. Imagination is the silent force behind every invention, every work of art, and every advancement in human history. When great visionaries look at the world, they do not see it as it is. They see it as it could be. The Wright brothers imagined flight before they built an airplane. Thomas Edison saw a world illuminated by artificial light before the first bulb ever glowed. Every great movement, from technological breakthroughs to social revolutions, began as a vision in the mind of an individual who refused to accept limitations. If we dismiss imagination as trivial or secondary to reason, we undermine the very power that moves civilization forward. More than just a tool for external creation, imagination is the key to personal transformation. If a person desires to change their life, they must first change their inner concept of self. The person who continually imagines failure, struggle, and lack will experience these conditions, while the person who sees themselves as confident, capable, and successful will bring that version of themselves into reality. This is not mere wishful thinking. It is the law by which life operates. The mind is like fertile soil. And whatever seeds we plant through imagination will grow into the circumstances we experience. Therefore, to master life, one must first master the imagination. Instead of allowing it to wander aimlessly, reacting to external events, we must direct it with purpose. We must hold in our minds the reality we wish to see, living in that vision with full conviction. When imagination is controlled, it becomes the driving force that shapes destiny, bending the world to match our inner convictions. The greatest power we possess is not in our hands nor in our intellect, but in our ability to see beyond what is and into what can be. The world around you is not an independent, fixed reality. It is a direct reflection of the images, beliefs, and assumptions you hold within. Everything you experience is shaped by the thoughts you continuously entertain, whether consciously or unconsciously. If you believe that life is a struggle, that opportunities are scarce, or that success is only for the lucky few, your external world will align with these beliefs, reinforcing them at every turn. But if you see yourself as capable, deserving, and abundant, life will mirror that assumption back to you. This is the fundamental truth. Reality is not something that happens to you, it is something that is shaped by you, and it begins in your imagination. Imagination is not a passive function of the mind, it is the force that precedes every experience. The circumstances you encounter are not random or accidental, they are the outgrowth of what has been nurtured in the garden of your thoughts. When you repeatedly dwell on a particular idea with emotional intensity, it imprints itself upon your subconscious, and the world adjusts itself accordingly. This is why two people can live in the same city, work in similar jobs, and yet have vastly different experiences. One finding joy and abundance, the other struggling with hardship. The difference is not in their external conditions, but in the unseen world of their inner assumptions. The mind operates like a projector, casting outward what is first envisioned within. When you hold a strong mental picture of a desired reality, you are impressing that vision upon the world, setting into motion a chain of events that will inevitably lead to its manifestation. This is why great achievers, inventors, and pioneers throughout history have emphasized the power of visualization and belief. They did not wait for evidence before they believed in their success. They imagined it first, felt it deeply, and then watched as reality conformed to their conviction. The outer world always bends to the dominant assumptions held in the mind, whether they are empowering or limiting. This principle operates in every aspect of life, from health to relationships to financial success. A person who constantly imagines themselves as ill will in time experience physical symptoms, while someone who envisions themselves as strong and vibrant will see their body respond accordingly. A person who assumes that love and companionship are out of reach will find themselves isolated, whereas one who believes they are worthy of deep and meaningful connections will naturally attract them. The mind does not distinguish between what is real and what is imagined. It simply accepts what is impressed upon it and manifests it into the physical world. Therefore, if you wish to change your reality, you must first change what you imagine to be true. You cannot wait for external circumstances to shift before altering your inner world. Instead, you must assume the feeling of your desired state as if it were already accomplished. Walk, talk, and think as if the reality you seek is already yours, and soon enough the world will reshape itself to match the vision you hold within. Every great achievement, every invention, and every work of art was once a formless thought in the mind of its creator. Before a building rises, it exists as an idea in the architect's imagination. Before a novel is written, its story plays out in the mind of the author. Before any success is realized, it is first conceived in thought. This is the undeniable truth of creation. Nothing comes into existence without first being imagined. The unseen always precedes the seen, and the intangible world of ideas is the true birthplace of everything that eventually becomes real. The mind is the workshop where reality is designed, refined, and brought to life. Thought is the foundation upon which everything stands. A scientist envisions a breakthrough before conducting an experiment. An athlete sees themselves winning before they step onto the field. An entrepreneur pictures their empire before a single dollar is made. What separates those who manifest their visions from those who remain stuck in limitation is not luck or chance, but the ability to hold on to a thought with unwavering conviction until it materializes. Thought is the seed, and reality is the harvest. History is a testament to this principle. Consider the marvels of human innovation: electricity, the telephone, space travel, the internet. None of these existed until someone dared to think of them first. The Wright brothers imagined flight before they built their aircraft. Thomas Edison saw the possibility of artificial light before the first bulb ever illuminated a room. The world as we know it is a collection of thoughts made visible. If an individual fails to recognize the power of thought, they surrender their creative ability and become passive observers rather than active participants in shaping their destiny. This truth extends beyond material inventions and into every area of life. A person's self-concept, the way they think about themselves, determines their experiences, relationships, and opportunities. If they see themselves as intelligent, capable, and deserving, they will move through the world with confidence and attract circumstances that affirm these beliefs. But if they think of themselves as weak, unlucky, or unworthy, life will mirror that assumption, bringing experiences that validate their self-imposed limitations. Every aspect of life, from success to failure, from love to loneliness, is first formed in thought before it appears in tangible form. Since thought is the origin of all creation, the responsibility of shaping reality lies in the mind of the individual. To change external circumstances, one must first change the thoughts they consistently entertain. It is not enough to simply wish for a better life. One must deeply believe in it, imagine it vividly, and persist in that vision until it solidifies into reality. The power to create, transform, and manifest is not found outside, it is within. Every dream, every possibility, every extraordinary outcome begins in the same place. A single thought, nurtured and believed in until the world has no choice but to make it real. The world you experience is nothing more than a reflection of your inner state. Every event, every encounter, and every circumstance you face is responding to the beliefs, emotions, and assumptions you hold within. Life does not happen to you randomly. It mirrors back to you exactly what you impress upon it through your thoughts and feelings. If you see the world as harsh and unforgiving, it will show you hardship. If you expect kindness and abundance, life will present you with opportunities that align with those expectations. Your inner world dictates your outer world, and until you change within, nothing can change without. This truth is evident in every aspect of life. A person who believes they are unworthy of love will unknowingly create experiences that confirm that belief. Whether by pushing people away, misinterpreting kindness as deception, or attracting those who reinforce their feelings of inadequacy. Conversely, someone who walks through life with a deep sense of self-worth will naturally draw in relationships that reflect that love and confidence. The world does not judge, it merely responds. It is a perfect, impartial mirror showing you the exact image you hold of yourself. Your circumstances, whether favorable or challenging, are not the result of fate or external forces beyond your control. They are the direct outpicturing of your dominant thoughts and assumptions. If you see yourself as prosperous, opportunities for wealth and success will appear, sometimes in ways that seem miraculous. If you believe you are constantly struggling, situations will arise to reinforce that struggle. People who thrive in life are not merely lucky, they have mastered the art of assuming the reality they wish to experience, and the world simply reflects that assumption back to them. Even when faced with difficulties, those who understand this principle do not dwell on the negative. Instead of reacting with fear or frustration, they use the moment as a signal to adjust their inner world. Rather than seeing problems as obstacles, they see them as opportunities to refine their beliefs and align more deeply with their desires. They know that if they persist in seeing themselves as successful, loved, and abundant, reality will eventually conform to that vision. The mirror does not distort, it only reflects. If the image looking back at you is not what you desire, the change must first happen within. If you wish to transform your life, you must first transform your mind. The world cannot give you what you do not already accept as true within yourself. Every assumption you hold, whether consciously or unconsciously, is shaping your reality in ways you may not even realize. The key to happiness, success, and fulfillment is not found in external effort alone, but in mastering the inner dialogue you maintain every day. Shift your inner world, and the outer world will follow. The world is and always has been a mirror. What you assume to be true, whether consciously or unconsciously, shapes the reality you experience. Assumption is more than mere thought. It is a deeply held conviction, an inner agreement with a certain state of being. Every person lives within the framework of their own assumptions, whether they realize it or not. If you assume that life is difficult, full of obstacles and struggle, you will encounter circumstances that confirm that belief. But if you assume that life is abundant, filled with opportunity and ease, your experiences will align with that expectation. The world outside you is simply responding to what you have already accepted as true within. Every great transformation, whether personal, financial, or spiritual, begins with a change in assumption. Those who achieve success do not wait for external proof before believing in their ability. They assume success first, and reality bends to match that belief. A person who assumes themselves to be wealthy will begin to think, feel, and act in ways that attract financial prosperity. They will recognize opportunities where others see none, make decisions that align with abundance, and carry themselves with the confidence of someone who knows they are destined for success. In time, the physical world must reflect this inner conviction. Assumption operates like an unseen law governing every aspect of life. Whether in relationships, health, or career, your assumptions set the stage for what you will experience. A person who assumes that love is scarce will subconsciously push people away or attract relationships that reinforce that belief. On the other hand, someone who assumes they are deeply loved and cherished will naturally experience relationships that reflect that state. This principle is not based on wishful thinking, it is an immutable law of consciousness. Whatever you consistently assume to be true will harden into fact. The subconscious mind does not argue or question your assumptions, it simply accepts them and shapes your reality accordingly. This is why those who persist in a new assumption, despite evidence to the contrary, eventually see their world shift. The key is persistence. Most people allow their assumptions to waver, reacting to external conditions instead of holding firm to their vision. But the one who remains steadfast in their assumption, who refuses to entertain doubt or contradiction, will inevitably witness their belief manifest in the physical world. Reality does not create assumption, assumption creates reality. To master this principle is to master life itself. You are never a victim of circumstance, you are only ever experiencing the outpicturing of your own assumptions. If you wish to change your reality, do not fight against what is, change what you assume to be true. Assume the best, hold firm to that assumption, and let the world rearrange itself accordingly. What you accept within, you will encounter without. The greatest power you possess is your ability to assume. For in assumption lies the seed of creation. Imagination is not a passive daydream or a fleeting fantasy. It is an active force, shaping your reality in every moment. Whether you are aware of it or not, you are constantly imagining, and what you consistently envision determines the life you experience. Some people mistakenly believe that imagination is only used for creativity or artistic expression, but in truth it governs every aspect of existence. The thoughts you dwell on, the scenarios you replay in your mind, and the assumptions you accept as true, all contribute to the world you see around you. Every person is using their imagination at all times. The question is whether they are using it consciously or unconsciously. Most people allow their imagination to run wild, reacting to external events and reinforcing the conditions they wish to escape. They imagine failure, rejection, and struggle without realizing that by doing so they are setting the stage for these very experiences. The person who constantly worries about financial hardship is, in reality, using their imagination to create a future of scarcity. The one who fears betrayal in relationships is actively imagining scenarios that will bring about distrust and disappointment. Imagination is always working, always generating outcomes, and those who fail to direct it with intention unknowingly manifest circumstances they would rather avoid. To harness the power of imagination, one must become deliberate in its use. Instead of allowing past experiences or current limitations to dictate what is imagined, a conscious individual uses imagination to reshape their reality. They see themselves as they wish to be, not as they are. They persist in imagining success, abundance, and joy, even when physical evidence suggests otherwise. They understand that imagination is not meant to reflect the present, but to create the future. When imagination is directed with purpose and conviction, the outer world has no choice but to conform. This principle is evident in every great achievement throughout history. Inventors, visionaries, and pioneers did not wait for proof before believing in their ideas. They imagined boldly and acted as though their vision was already a reality. The Wright brothers saw flight before they built their plane. Nikola Tesla envisioned his inventions long before they were realized. Every breakthrough, every revolution, and every transformation began as an image in the mind of someone who refused to let external conditions dictate what was possible. Their imagination was not idle. It was an active force, shaping the world according to their inner vision. The truth is, you are already imagining your future, whether you acknowledge it or not. If you do not take control of your imagination, it will be controlled by external influences, fear, doubt, and limitation. But if you choose to take charge, to use imagination actively and intentionally, you can mold reality to match your highest vision. You must see yourself as the person you wish to become, feel the reality of your desires as though they are already fulfilled, and persist in that vision until the world around you shifts accordingly. Imagination is never still. It is always creating. The question is, are you using it to build the life you want or the one you fear? The only true limits in life are the ones you accept as real. You are not confined by circumstances, past experiences, or the opinions of others, unless you believe you are. The mind is the ultimate creator, and whatever you assume to be possible for yourself will shape your reality. If you see yourself as weak, unworthy, or incapable, life will mirror that assumption back to you. But the moment you decide to see yourself as limitless, as a being capable of achieving anything you desire, the world will shift to reflect that belief. You must not wait for evidence of your power. You must declare it, assume it, and live in the certainty that you are boundless. Most people unknowingly place barriers around their potential. They accept societal conditioning, past failures, and external circumstances as proof of what they can and cannot do. They say, I've never been good at that, or I wasn't born into the right conditions, or people like me don't achieve those things. But these statements are nothing more than imagined limitations, self-imposed walls that have no existence beyond the mind that believes in them. The truth is, you are as limited or as limitless as you decide to be. The moment you reject restriction and embrace the idea that you can become, do, and have anything, you set in motion a transformation that will eventually be reflected in your world. Seeing yourself as limitless is not about wishful thinking. It is about shifting your entire state of being. It is about walking through life with the certainty that no obstacle is greater than your ability to imagine and create new possibilities. When you truly believe you are limitless, you no longer hesitate in the face of challenges. You no longer dwell in fear or doubt. Instead, you move with confidence, knowing that reality is shaped by your assumptions. Your belief in your own power is the key that unlocks doors that others do not even see. Every great innovator, leader, and visionary throughout history operated from this mindset. They did not accept limitations imposed by society, convention, or fear. They saw beyond what was and into what could be. They believed in their own boundlessness so deeply that reality had no choice but to conform. The greatest minds of all time have proven that human potential knows no ceiling. It is only our self-imposed beliefs that create one. If you are willing to see yourself as limitless, you will tap into the same creative force that has shaped the course of history. The power is already within you. You do not need permission, external validation, or proof before claiming it. The only requirement is that you assume it as truth. You must choose, in this very moment, to see yourself as infinite, to live as though nothing stands between you and the life you desire. When you make that choice fully, completely, and without hesitation, the world will rearrange itself to reflect the limitless being you have always been. You are not a victim of fate, chance, or circumstances beyond your control. Your destiny is not written in the stars, nor is it predetermined by forces outside of you. It is shaped moment by moment by the thoughts you entertain, the beliefs you hold, and the assumptions you accept as truth. The power to create your future has always been in your hands. If you believe you are subject to the whims of luck, then life will seem uncertain and unpredictable. But if you understand that you are the master of your own destiny, you will move through the world with confidence, knowing that every experience you encounter is the result of your own creation. Most people relinquish control over their lives, blaming external conditions for their failures and setbacks. They believe that success is reserved for the fortunate, that happiness depends on external validation, and that they must accept whatever life gives them. But this is an illusion. The reality is that every person is shaping their future through their dominant thoughts and emotions. If you constantly dwell on limitations, struggle, and hardship, you will unknowingly create a future that reflects those very beliefs. But the moment you decide to take full responsibility for your life, everything begins to change. The power to shape your destiny lies in the choices you make every day. Choices not just in action, but in thought. What do you assume to be true about yourself? What story do you tell yourself about your abilities, your worth, and your potential? These inner narratives are far more powerful than any external condition. A person who assumes they are destined for greatness will naturally move toward experiences that affirm that belief. They will recognize opportunities where others see obstacles. They will persist when others give up, and they will attract the right people and circumstances to support their vision. You are never stuck, no matter how impossible things may seem. You always have the ability to change your path by changing the way you see yourself. If you want to transform your life, you must first transform the way you think. Assume the reality you desire as if it is already yours. Walk, talk, and live as the person you wish to become, and soon enough, The world will mold itself to match your conviction. Your destiny is not something you wait for. It is something you create with intention and unwavering belief. The truth is simple. Your destiny is in your hands. No one else holds the power to define your life except you. You are not bound by your past, by circumstances, or by the limitations of others. You are free to choose, free to imagine, and free to create. The only question is, what will you do with this power? Will you continue to drift, allowing life to shape you? Or will you continue to drift, assume the reality you desire, and mold your destiny according to your highest vision? The choice has always been yours. Everything you seek, everything you dream of, already exists within you. You are not powerless. You are not limited. The only barriers that exist are the ones you choose to acknowledge. If you can imagine a greater life, you can create it. If you can assume a new reality, you can step into it. The world is not happening to you, it is responding to you. So stand boldly in your power. Dare to see yourself as limitless. Refuse to accept anything less than the life you truly desire. Do not wait for circumstances to change. Change your mind, and the world will follow. Assume your greatness, claim your destiny, and walk forward with unwavering conviction. You are the creator of your reality. You always have been. The question is, will you use it?